Hey y'all, thanks Pumpkin. Hey Ma, hold on a second. Let me send it to him so he can come on. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. I definitely am running out of clothes though. I definitely am. Hey. Thank you. I'm not throwing on no tees. And I'm not throwing on. No, I have. No, I've thrown on some tees. Some jeans. Hey. I don't know if that request was on purpose or by accident. So I don't really know. So I'm not gonna. Okay, here you go. Hey, can you see me?
Hey, Simone, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Is it echoing at any point?
Nah, not really. You good?
You sure? Well,
Loud and
ladies
clear.
and gentlemen, we got Domencio here with us tonight. I'm trying to go ahead and see what else let me see. Okay. So let me just start off by introducing who you are first. So you go ahead and introduce yourself. I don't want to do your introduction for you.
My name is Domencio, executive producer of the Domencio Montana story. A story loosely based on my father, my late father, Domencio Montana Benson.
So give us a little background about you and what you do before we jump into the good stuff.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I was born in Brooklyn, New York. Raised in Flatbush, and I went to Morgan State University. Graduated in I was class of 2005, and I was a business major, business marketing. I always had a passion, for film, acting, things of that nature. And for years, my father passed at 8, so for years I always said I was going to make some sort of film about him.
Oh, that's dope. I didn't know you wanted to do it from that long ago.
Well, no, not really from that young, but as I started getting older, I started wanting to pursue that.
So what was the whole basis of the documentary? Like, what was it that you was trying to get out here? Because I did watch the documentary. Me and my mother, I watched it first, and then me and my mother watched the documentary again together. So what is it that you wanted to do? Because you have some heavy hitters in there inside the
Mhm.
documentary. And I don't want to give away too much because I want everybody to actually go out and purchase the
Absolutely.
documentary and actually watch it for themselves. So
hmm
what was it that you really wanted to get across in the documentary?
Well, one of the messages I wanted to get across was basically just to show who my father was outside of the street legend. The show that he had a family that loved him. He loved his family. He was a very loving man. He just wasn't some, no street drug dealer or killer that some people may think because they don't, they just see him in one light. So I wanted to get that across, like who the man is or was behind the street stuff. You know what I mean?
So how long did it take you to actually do the documentary?
On and off about 5 years. I started, and then I actually lost a bunch of my footage. So I had to, and that kind of was like a breaking point. I said, man, well, maybe it's not meant to be. And I left it alone. And then I just, something just kept, like shadowing over me saying, make it happen. Domencio, don't give up. Keep with it. And that's what I did. I stayed focused and, I brought it to light finally.
How hard was it to get everybody to be a part of the documentary though? Was everybody like a little iffy, or was it
Yeah,
like,
that was some of the issues. I mean, you have people that, change their lives. They're not the same people, that they were, growing up. It was different times. So a lot of people were pretty, were shy. They loved my father. They wanted to do it, but because of their career path, they may have not wanted to, be seen on a documentary. And when I spoke with them and they got my message and what I wanted to get across, and just, I reassured everyone in the documentary that this is not going to be like a shoot 'em up, bang 'em up type thing. This is just going to really be something different from all the other documentaries out there. So it was kind of hard, but everyone came together because he has so much love. So people definitely support it.
why didn't you write a book? Why the documentary and not like a book or something like that?
Well, I didn't do a book. I always had the passion for film, so you know, film was just like, it was like that was the thing. I didn't give too much thought for a book. I never saw myself as a writer, so that's why I didn't really pursue a book. Now I'm considering it, just being able to touch, all bases with this story. So in the beginning, it was just film. I didn't see myself, writing a book or anything like that.
Because it's like, I know the documentary is like, it's about an hour, right?
It's like 58 minutes. Yeah,
That wasn't
close to an
enough.
hour.
That
I
wasn't
know
enough.
that's what I'm getting. See, I could have went longer. I just, I saved room for possibly a part two. Also, I know nowadays people, got so much going on in the world. I didn't want to take up too much time from people, so I said I wanted to keep it kind of short and sweet. You know what I mean? People nowadays attention span is not like it used to be. So I just want, I just wanted to keep it short and sweet. I didn't want to do the whole hour and a half thing, or so I figured let me keep it short.
And so you said your dad, how old was your dad when he died?
My
How old
father
was your
was
dad?
27. He was 27. He had just turned 27.
Jesus Christ. And you said
Yeah,
you were
so
8 years old?
yeah, I was 8 years old. Yeah, yeah.
And I don't want to get too personal, but I know that you mentioned that in the documentary that you had a twin, but there was no light shed on what happened to your twin.
Yeah, I didn't really go into that. That's very, it's emotional. So I was a twin. My twin passed away at 6 months from crib death.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, I was a twin. Yeah, I didn't go into that too much. I was, it was already, as you can see, it was already a little touchy at some point. So I kind of just I left that out.
Did you feel like it was therapeutic as you were doing the documentary or when you finished the documentary? Because I know some people that when they're either writing a book or doing a film that's really close to the home or close to the heart, it becomes therapeutic as you continue the project.
Yeah, it was therapeutic. I mean, some days after shooting, I would feel so relieved. I felt good. Even while shooting, I was just, the energy I was feeling was good. It was therapeutic. I learned stories about my father that I didn't know. I mean, although I was young, I had a good relationship with him. And just hearing stories from immediate family is different when you start speaking to his friends who had interactions with him outside of the family dynamic. So it was therapeutic to hear some great stories of how genuine my father was.
So when you lost your father at 8 years old, how did that affect you? I mean, I know, like the ins and out of, how your father, was murdered because he definitely was murdered, correct?
Yes.
So how did that affect you growing up? Like, what did that do for you? Like a young Black kid growing up in Brooklyn and you lose your father.
It what it did. I mean, it pretty much. I always felt a little void. You know what I mean? Like why and just have like just not having him there at certain points. You know what I mean? It definitely it hurt. Growing up. I always kind of didn't understand it, and definitely. I'm sorry about that. And definitely. definitely a guy like my dad, and when I would meet his friends or family, and people say you look just like him or whatever the case is, that hurt as well. But um, I had a good foundation, so I was able to be a lot stronger than most. So that's another thing I wanted to touch on in this documentary was just how we affected by losing our parents or a parent to gun violence or drugs or whatever the case is, because there's plenty of stories out there like mine. You know what I mean? So
I know people glorify the 80s, but I don't think people understand like how people were, like you said, affected by like gun violence, drug, like crack was really high back in the 80s. A lot of families were ruined because of crack. Since was murdered. Your father, was murdered at 27 years old. Like his life was cut completely short, and he had a whole entire family. He had
correct.
kids that needed to grow up and needed their father there. And I don't think people glorify that life, but they don't really understand how those that were living that life were really truly affected.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the thing. I get comments sometimes like, "Hey, why did you feel the need to glorify your father and he was in that life?" But it's not about glorification of my father or that life. It's about shedding light onto it and how it broke homes. You know what I mean? On all different levels, from the users to the dealers to the to the robbings to the killings. So it wasn't about glorification. It was just about shedding light. You know what I mean? So that time was rough. A lot of people don't know really what that time was like, and so that's what I kind of wanted to bring in this film is a little bit of the life of how the dynamics changed in the inner city when crack was introduced to these neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying?
I know that when people ask you about your dad and how he died, people sometimes want to focus on who actually murdered him. And I don't want to I don't want to put any energy into that particular person, because he's definitely, a non-factor. Do you feel like that's the reason why you also wanted to do the documentary?
Um, to come again,
I was saying like people want to focus on who actually, murdered your father instead
mhm.
of like who your father was. Is that also why you wanted to do the documentary?
um, that was a small piece of it. I mean, a small piece of it was clearing up the rumor, because people said that he smacked this dude's wife, or he was had a relationship with this dude's wife. So a piece of it was to just clear up that rumor. Yeah, a piece of it, not a whole lot. You know what I mean? But just I definitely wanted to clear that rumor up.
And so, did you ever think about maybe possibly doing like a movie
Um,
on your dad's life?
um, yeah, down the line. I mean, maybe possibly 2021. That's not right now. Right now, I just want to continue to push this movie and market it and get it out there, and hopefully people continue to support and keep buying it. It was fully independent. It took years to make, a lot of flights back and forth to different places. So I just want to right now just keep marketing it. Um, then I would say I would want to probably shoot for like a bigger distribution, possibly a Hulu or Netflix, just to bring this film into as many as households as possible. You know what I mean? I think it's a good watch. So I would love to just get possibly a bigger distribution situation. Um, that way it can be seen everywhere. And well, it's global now, but just as many homes as possible. Then maybe we'll entertain a movie. You know what I mean? Maybe 2021. That's not really, I'm not really focused on that right now. Right now, I just want to continue to push the documentary. So it's kind of a little too far to tell if I want to go the movie route.
And you wouldn't be interested in maybe like doing like reality TV? I know reality TV get like a little bad name, but they have like the cartel, like these kids like that was a part of the cartel. They have like the mob kids, the kids that were out in Long Island. No one ever talks about the kids that grew up in Harlem and Brooklyn, who fathers were kingpins, who were either, locked up or got murdered. Like they never seem to shed any light
Yeah, we
on
don't,
those
we don't,
type
we
of
don't
stories. We
have
don't get
that.
a voice for
Yeah,
that. I mean, they
we don't get
glorify
it.
the mob, the Italians. You get the, Sammy the Bull family. You get the
Yeah, yeah,
cartel. Griselda Blanco's,
yeah,
son is on the cartel. But you never
yes.
really get the kids that lost their fathers, or from
Mothers
either
or
jail or either, what I mean, crack or whatever
yeah,
the case
yeah,
might be. Would you ever
yeah.
entertain maybe doing like a reality show? But then I don't know. They might kind of
Well,
put you up with people that you wouldn't even want to be around,
yeah,
though.
well, I wouldn't. I don't. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be, you know, I would definitely entertain it. I mean, it's something that I think is a great idea. As far as me being on it, I'm not too sure if I would, you know, personally be on it. Maybe executive produce or be behind the scenes directing that kind of sort of thing. I think I don't know if I would necessarily be on the show. I think that show it would be a great idea though. So I mean I don't know where you know we're in talks actually. We met about 2 months ago. I met with some other guys that kind of came up like me, and we had a brief meeting on it, and it went very well. So we'll see. Right now, you know, I'm the documentary's out. I just want to keep pushing that. I want people to see it and support it and just, you know, enjoy it and you know, just learn from it.
Is there anything else in the doc that you didn't mention in the documentary that you wanted to get across?
I think I touched on everything. I don't think I left anything out. That's kind of why I took my time with it. Um, yeah, I think I touched on everything.
And so, what are like future projects that you have that you would want to do, like moving forward? Like, what is your overall mission? Because I know like you have maybe like family members that are locked up, like prison reform. Is there anything else that you're doing, like nonprofit organizations or anything like that?
Well, right now I'm doing another film. Well, I'm writing. I'm putting something together right now to start filming in late September. It'll be another documentary. It has nothing to do with like any particular figure person. You know, I'll let that out the bag shortly. But so I am gonna start filming that in the late part of September. As far as the second part of your question. Um, it's I don't know, man. I'm overwhelmed by everything. It's happening. Things are happening so fast. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. We got the merch out. I'm getting a lot of calls and getting a lot of love. It's crazy. Things is moving fast. The numbers we're in like 20 countries. It's getting crazy.
So everybody wants to know where to find the documentary at. If you guys are following Domencio, you can actually go to his page, and the link is in the bio. Correct?
Link is in the bio, so it's on Vimeo on demand. I chose that platform. I think they have a great streaming app where people can get it and see it and stream it at any time. They were really competitive. So Vimeo on demand right now. That's the place to get it. You can just type in the Domencio Montana story.
So I wanted to also get into like some other things. Hold on a second.
Did you like it? You didn't tell me if you liked it. Did you like it? Did you and your mom watched it? What's some feedback?
Well, I grew up in Harlem, so a lot of the names that was in, familiar with it. I'm from Uptown, from Harlem. So of course we know the rich quarters of the world and things like that. So it's like I think Harlem and Brooklyn, I think it's the same way it is now was back then. Like you don't go to Brooklyn unless you got business in Brooklyn. Nobody really goes into Brooklyn like that. I mean, now it's a little bit more integrated. Like you kind of catch
Yeah.
me in Brooklyn if you do, but like before we wasn't coming to Brooklyn like that. So it's very rare
Mhm.
that you actually hear a story about somebody, you know what I mean, in Brooklyn. And I guess like if I didn't know you, I probably wouldn't have known this story. I know like you got like the Feds magazine and you read like, little stories inside the Fed magazines that talk about these different type of drug dealers and everything else. But I definitely grew up in that era. And so it was really like disheartening to hear like what was going on. And, and again, these, like you said, they had families. These men had families. Children's lives were ruined by jealousy, snitching, all kinds of stuff. There's people fathers that's still serving time in jail from an old charge that, for some reason, everybody else got out of jail because of COVID, but this particular person can't get out of jail. So,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
hit
yeah,
close to
yeah,
home. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? You could get
yeah.
to watch something like that and it hits a little bit close to home because either you got family members or people or whatever the case might be. And again, like you said, people's lives have definitely surpassed it. And like I always say to my mom, like the 80s were really hard. If you survived the 80s and you still look good and you healthy and you surpass the crack era, you
That's a
surpass
big deal.
AIDS, AIDS was running rapid back
That was
then,
another. That was
drug
another
dealers.
epidemic. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
People was
Correct.
getting fur coats stolen out of the doggone coat check. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like things like that people don't really know about. Like the parties, the clubs, the money, you know what I mean? That era,
Yeah.
like I said, is always gonna be glorified because there was just so much money back then. There was
Correct.
so much money out there that it was like, damn, how could you
Yeah.
not be doing it? I think me and my friends were talking about that today. Like if you were living in the 80s,
Hmm.
what would you be? I said, shoot, it's like it was only two jobs. It's like it was only
Exactly.
two jobs for women back then. Either you was a secretary or a fly girl. I said I probably would have been a fly girl. Like
Exactly.
everybody was dating somebody that was in the street.
Exactly. Exactly.
Everybody was dating a guy in the street. If he wasn't a street guy, he had like a little trade. He was a
Yeah.
secretary too. He was an
Hmm.
administrative
Hmm.
assistant too. Or he was
Yeah.
working in the mail room too. It just didn't seem like there was too many occupations for a black guy, young black guy, straight out of high school coming
Exactly.
up. What was he gonna be? A
Exactly.
cop? You ain't trust the cops. I don't
Yeah.
remember too many young guys being cops back then. I mean, if they did, some that's correctional officers, they probably retired now. But I definitely like the documentary how it was shot. It was
Hmm.
nothing but overwhelming love. You could
Yeah.
tell, you know what I mean? Like I always say, like I call them OGs. There's a
Hmm.
lot of OGs that was in there.
Yeah.
You could still see that they still live by the same code. They still live by the same code.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What else there was? Like, like the stories about like your dad and who he was as a person, how he felt. I mean, like, I kind of know you. I can see where you got some of the stuff from. Your dad seemed like a really straightforward guy, straight up dude. The relationship that he had with Mike Tyson. I mean, if I could go back as an adult and live in the 80s, I don't think that I would want to do it. Like, again, like I know a lot of people lost a lot of people back then. It was
Hmm.
like a funeral every day.
Yeah.
Somebody
Very
was getting
true.
shot up, somebody was getting robbed, you know what I mean? People getting
Yeah.
tied up in their apartments, all kinds of crazy stuff was happening. It was a crazy time to be
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah. It
And a
was. It
lot of
was.
people didn't make it out. And so all of
Yeah.
those people that you have in your documentary, they made it out.
They made it out. Yeah. And they changed their lives, and they're on to bigger and better things, and they learned from it. They learned from the life from the past. And to go back, just to bring it back really fast, you had asked me about nonprofit organizations, and that's what I kind of lost my train of thought. So a portion of the proceeds from this documentary, I am going to donate to a nonprofit organization, particularly like a family, or someone that lost someone to gun violence. You know what I'm saying? So I am going to
Okay.
do that. That's a definite. Right now, we're still scouting through what organization, but that you'll see that because I'll post that. I definitely want to give back to one of those organizations. You know what I mean? Because there's people that weren't fortunate. I was fortunate enough to have a mother that left that life alone and got a great job and was able to provide a different life. That's how I was able to get pushed towards college, and you know what I mean, and kind of be who I am today. So I am gonna do that, just to dibble back to what you said about those organizations. So if you know of one, if anybody know one, they could drop it in the comments. I'm definitely gonna do that, and that'll be posted on my Instagram, and you can repost or whatever. But I look forward to
I'm
doing
trying
that.
to think. I'm trying to think now. I don't know, maybe I don't know. Do they have a charity for maybe like children who lost their parents to gun violence? I don't really
Yeah,
know, but I know
children.
I think it is one. I
Yeah,
definitely think it is
yeah.
one.
So if you know it, I mean, which like I have someone working on it, but if you know of one, if you find one, just let me know. We are gonna donate towards that. Absolutely.
Somebody said father your sons. I know who
Father, your
that is.
son. Yeah,
That
that's
father
dope.
your
That's dope.
son is
That's dope. That's
one
dope.
of the things. So I mean, whoo, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the documentary. Like I said, I watched it twice. I watched it. You got your aunt, Mike Tyson's sister there.
Yeah, I
Like she
got my
was going to
aunt
get.
Jackie there. Yeah, that's Mike Tyson. Since I got Mike Tyson, I was able to get Jimmy Hinchman. Jimmy Hinchman is like an uncle to me. I got him. He's incarcerated right now. I have a lot of families. My father cousins. I have my little brother who was 3 months when my father passed away. He never got a chance to meet
Right.
my dad. So he actually learned who our father was through this, through this through doing this documentary as well. I just, like I said, I have family, all his friends, his close friends, not just associates, but people that actually knew who he was, before and after. You know what I mean? Like they knew who he was, who the real Domencio was, and you see the love. He was a genuine person. He was a family man, and just kind of got caught up into a certain circumstance that in the time um, that put him. You know what I mean?
Right. I
Put him
know,
in a
like somebody
position.
was saying that they was having fun back in the 80s.
They did have a lot of fun, man. Some of the stories I didn't even some of the like that's I'm gonna post clips like in the next coming weeks. Some of the clips that I didn't put in the documentary, I'm gonna post like on my Instagram, like you know, and to make people laugh and shit about the time. So yeah, I'm gonna post some of that stuff.
And you said that your mom had basically just kind of shifted you in the right direction, or like what did you mean by that? Like
Yeah,
you
my
went to
mother,
school,
she
like you
kept.
lived a different path. Like you and your dad's life paths went like this.
Yeah, we went like that, and it was due to my mother, and I kind of wanted to. Well, yeah, she kept me on track. She kept me grounded. She took me out of the inner city. She kind of moved me to the suburbs. She just kept me in school and just kept enforcing, because I was energetic. I was an energetic kid. So, but she kept me grounded, and she kept pushing me, and I admired her as well, because just to see how, because she was right there at those times, and to see how she changed her life and the environment she put, her kids in is like push me to be like, yo, look, this is the life I want to live, and I want my kids to live this life. You know what I mean? I want to be here for them. You know what I'm
What made you
saying?
want to go to college though? But why'd you pick Morgan?
Well, I picked Morgan because I have family in Baltimore. I went on a
Okay.
college visit. Yeah, I went on a college tour. That wasn't the only reason, but I went on a college tour. I liked the campus. It wasn't, it was a nice campus. It wasn't too like, when you think of a HBCU, you think about the parties. You think about just, a bunch of black people just wilding out. And it wasn't like that. I didn't get that vibe from it. I got more like, business minded, kind of like, like we serious. We want to help each other. I caught that vibe from Morgan. So, it wasn't too far from home. I said, let me give it a shot. And I'm glad I made that choice, man. One of the best business schools in the nation, man.
I don't know what Morgan you went to, because when I went there, we was wilding out. You said it wasn't
No,
like
we was
that.
wild. I mean, we had fun, but I'm saying compared. I went to college visits, Virginia Union, Virginia State. Those campuses was nothing like Morgan. Like from what I saw, my college, I never forget. I went on a college tour my senior year in high school. We went all up the Northeast region. We started out. We went to Delaware. We went to Maryland. We went to Virginia, and I think we went to A&T, North Carolina. And we went to Howard. When I got to Virginia and all of that, it was just too much. I felt like I was at home, and I didn't want to be in a place that was like home. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to kind of be focused. Morgan was a little bit more laid back, at least when I went to the
To the college
to the
tour?
college. I mean, you're gonna get parties in any school you go to. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get the partying, but I think overall, the campus wasn't as wild as some of the other ones I visited. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah. I mean,
But you're a little younger than me. You came in after me, no?
how much younger am I than you?
You're a little younger than me, man.
I'm not that much younger than you. I
No?
came right.
Okay.
I'm class of '08. I'm not that much
Okay,
younger.
I'm class of '05. So,
I'm technically class of '07, so I'm really not that far behind
okay,
you.
okay, okay, okay. All right, all right,
That's
all right.
cool. I mean, I think, I don't know. I don't know about you, but when I went to Morgan, I kind of got engulfed into Baltimore. Like I went to
Okay.
Morgan, but I was getting kind of wrapped up into Baltimore. So like as I was there, like I had to hurry up and graduate so I could come home, because a lot of things that was happening in Baltimore seemed very reminiscent of the '80s in New York.
Correct, correct. But see, that's the thing. I didn't get engulfed in that, because like I said, I came from that. So I didn't wanna, my direction was a little different. I was like in and out, like, yo, look, I'm coming here and I'm here for school, and I'm gonna just do this, because anything else outside of that I could do, I might as well have stayed at home. That was just my train of thought. So I didn't get too caught up in the Baltimore scene or the Baltimore life, or what was going on outside of college, you know what I mean? Just so I can stay focused and hurry up and get in and get out. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
mean, you definitely was super focused. I only ever saw you going to class.
yeah, I was focused. I partied, but
You
I
was
was
focused.
focused. I'm a focused man.
How you look to the side like, yeah, I party. I party
Nah,
all the time,
nah.
every day,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
day,
yeah, yeah,
Monday,
yeah. I
Tuesday,
have my
Wednesday.
share. I had my share parties, you know.
And so
Yeah.
therefore you just went ahead and what did you do right after college though?
Right after college, I stayed in Baltimore for a little bit. I wasn't really ready to move back home. I mean, the life I had, you know, well, not the life I had, but, you know, what you can get like rent wise in Maryland. Of course, there's no comparison to New York. Rent is much cheaper. I didn't want to move back home. So I kind of stayed there and, you know, worked and grinded out for like a year after a year and a half until I was financially stable to come back and get a place to stay on my own. And, you know, then I had my daughter, and you know, that kind of transitioned me back to New York. I wanted to be closer to her.
How old is your daughter now?
My daughter should be 14 August 11th. So she's yeah,
Oh my God. I didn't
yeah,
know she was
yeah,
that old. I thought,
yeah,
I don't know why. I think I saw you when she was maybe like 4, like four
yeah,
years
yeah, yeah,
old. I was
yeah,
like
yeah. She was young.
14. Oh wow.
Yeah,
So are you
yeah.
in New York now or are you still
Yeah,
like
yeah, I'm in no, no, I'm in New York. I end up taking advantage of some real estate in Baltimore, but I am still based in New York, yeah, currently.
oh, okay then.
You
So what
know,
about like well, I don't know if you can do any of that. Like I guess COVID kind of really kind of messed up everything. I was gonna
what's
say
that?
like a release party, a documentary release party. You can't have no party or
No,
no
no,
real gathering.
we are doing that. So we have a private release party coming in August, the end of August. You know, it's going to be limited, of course, due to the circumstances. So I'm going to have the cast there. I'm going to have you know, some family, some movers and shakers are going to be there supporting, and we're going to just rub shoulders and celebrate and have a good time. So I am going to do something. We'll have a nurse there, you know, of course, checking
I
temperatures. Yeah,
was
we're gonna
about
have
to
a nurse
say.
there checking temperatures, you know, hand sanitizer, you know, masks if need be. It's gonna be outdoors so that way people can social
Oh, that'd
distance.
be
But
dope.
yeah, yeah, but we're definitely gonna do that. I mean, it's only right. I worked so hard for this, and I finally did it. So you know, it's just like a little celebration.
So if your dad was alive right now, what do you think he'll be doing?
If my dad was alive, he'll definitely be an entrepreneur doing something. A lot of his friends say he'll be in the music industry, maybe an exec because he loved music. You know, he loved the music, different genres. He loved the go-go. He loved the R&B. He loved the hip hop. So he'll probably be in the music industry, something to that extent. I feel like.
It was funny when you said like your dad, well, they were saying like your dad liked go-go music when he came to DC. Like that's one of the most alternative sounds I've ever heard in my life. And you only really get a chance to hear that kind of music once you go to the DMV
Once
area.
you go, yeah, correct, correct,
Once you
correct.
come down there, I just remember living in Baltimore and my first
Yeah,
time
yeah,
hearing go-go music. And I said, well, what the fuck is that? And they were like, that's the go-go music. And it was like, this is
yeah,
what type of sound we like live music. This is the
yeah. It's
band.
different.
This is how we get down. This is how we dance when we hear this music. It's something your
That's
father
right.
was extremely loved, like an outpour of love. And even I think in a certain part of the documentary, I think somebody got really choked up just talking about like his passing, like a
The
friend of your
past.
dad's, like how he passed and
Okay,
like she didn't want to think about it. Like as she was talking
okay.
about, like I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Right again, right again, right again. Yeah, Go-Go. He loved the Go-Go. From what I found, I didn't know that either. I had no idea that you know, he had a love for Go-Go music. You know, which is a
Did you like
different
go-go
sound.
music?
Yeah, I do like Go-Go music. I do. I mean, of course, you know, being in Baltimore, you know, the DMV area, I kind of picked up on some of the Go-Go music. So I do like it. I do. It's cool. You know, I mean, it's to me, it's like, you know, a lot of the songs are songs that we already know just with the live band to it. So I think it's dope. I think it's dope.
Do you think your dad is proud of you?
I think he is. I think he's happy the way I put this together. I think he's smiling down, and I think that's why I'm receiving so much blessings. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why it came out the way it did at the time that it did. So I think he's proud. You know, he's proud that, you know, I'm taking a different route and, you know, shedding light on to who he was as a person. You know what I'm saying? And how I was able to help my little brother. That was the first time he's ever been to the cemetery. You know, outside of him being a baby 3 months, that was the first time he's ever been to the cemetery, to see my father. So I think that was dope. I think having my little brother around for some of those interviews, you know, that was dope. You know what I'm saying? So I think I made him happy with this project, and we still got more work to do. You know what I mean? And we're gonna keep going.
And so again, I just want you to say, like, where can they find the merchandise at?
The merchandise, you can go on my my link is in the bio, of course. If you're not on Instagram or for whatever reason, you can go directly to my website, DimensioMontanaStory.com. I have the t-shirts there, the white, black, with the actual the Domencio Montana Story t-shirts are there. I got women's, I got every size from extra small to double X. So yeah, definitely go check that out. Support, man. It's about, we always talk about, you know, supporting each other and supporting black this, supporting black that. So I shouldn't hear anything about, oh, why are you charging $20? I mean, we'll spend $20 on frivolous things, on a bag of weed or this or that. I mean, you know, put it into something good that you could show your kids or show your family or learn from. You know what I mean? Let's support us. You know, let's really do it, and let's just stop talking about it. You know what I mean? Go make that purchase. Go to Vimeo on demand. Let's get more stories out there. You know, from other black filmmakers, independent filmmakers, or entrepreneurs in general. Let's support us.
And so before I let you go, because I really want to thank you, you know, for coming on here, doing my live show with me. I know a lot of people give me a lot of pushback when I ask them to do it, but you jumped on it and said not a problem, and you'll be willing to do it. So I thank you, and I do appreciate that from you. So I
Nah,
ask
no
all my
problem.
guests before they leave to drop a gem, like drop a gem. You sort of kind of just dropped a gem, but drop another one. Drop another one before you go. Think of something that you want to tell women and men before you go, like a gem, a jewel, something that we
I
could
have a
take from
few
this.
jewels. I'll drop a couple jewels.
Oh,
I
was it
can't
drop
just,
drop a
yeah, I can't.
couple,
I mean,
drop a
one,
freestyle, drop a couple.
one or two off top is just like, for us to just really think about the legacy we're gonna leave behind when we're no longer here. You know what I'm saying? We got to think about our actions and what we want to do and who we are, and just think about how you want your name to be remembered. That's important. You know what I mean? So, just think about how you want your legacy to be. Another thing is, you know, for all my gang members, for all my people on the streets, for all my people that just, in the struggle, think about the families you're affecting with violence or drugs, whatever it is. Think about the families you're affecting on both sides. Think about how your family's affected by what you do. Because believe it or not, you know, you affect your family. So off the top, those are two jewels I could drop off the top, man. Just think about the legacy you're gonna leave behind, and think about how you affect the families and your actions.
And what's your legacy that you want to leave behind for your daughter?
My legacy that I want to leave behind for my daughters is
Oh,
just basically your dad was a hard worker. You know, he was brought up without a dad. He overcame obstacles in his own life, and he stayed focused. He remained humble, because it was hard. It's hard coming up when people want you to, they look at your father in a certain light, and they want you to kind of be like him, or they expect you to be like him. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like my legacy is basically to go further than my father, or be better than my father, not take the same route. So my legacy is just gonna be like, yo, your dad is an entrepreneur. He did it, and I'm gonna keep doing it. For them and my family.
okay. Well, I want to thank you again. Thank you for coming. Have you done many lives?
I did like two. I'm new to this. I'm new. I did like two. I did one, like one or two. I did. So I'm fairly new. I'm getting used to it. I appreciate you
Okay.
having me. Like I said, everybody support the Domencio Montana story. It's a story. It's a good story. Has a storyline. Go support. It's on Vimeo. Don't worry about that $20, man. You'll get it back, and it's worth it.
It
so
definitely is. It was definitely a good documentary. It was shot very well. Shot
yeah,
very
yeah.
well. It was a
A
very
lot of those,
well
a lot of
shot
those
documentary.
a lot of those scenes I shot myself. Shout out to the people that I did hire to shoot. A few dudes I contracted to shoot, but a lot of those scenes I had to pick up my camera and go. It was hard to get interviews, but based on schedule. So I ended up buying my own camera, and I was, I went on YouTube. I figured it out, and a lot of times I just pick up the camera and just run and shoot. So yeah, that's good to hear, and I'm happy that you think it was very well shot, because
It was shot good.
yeah, this is my first film. The next one's gonna be even better, so stay tuned for that.
So we got more stuff in the works, right? So this is the first
Definitely, we
step
got to
to
keep. We
some
got
more to
yeah,
come.
absolutely. We got to keep going. We can't stop here. We got to keep going.
Okay. So I want to thank you again. I don't want to hold you up too much. I do appreciate that. Everybody follow his page, click the link in his bio, and
Some
buy the documentary.
somebody said YouTube University. That's right. That's right. YouTube University.
I want to thank you again. I want to say good night and thank everybody for coming out tonight. Definitely support the documentary. I'm going to repost it in my story again.
Hmm.
And
Thank
go
you.
ahead and follow his page and check the link.
Yeah.
$20. Y'all can give up
$20.
$20.
$20.
It's
That's
just
right. Give it up.
it's
Give
a
it up.
funky old $20. Y'all can give up a funky
Yeah.
old $20 for the documentary.
Yeah. I appreciate you for having me, man.
Thank you so much. Good night.
All right. Good night.